Okay guys, so this is probably a very kind of different review that you've seen before. I call it the Drunken review. Basically I was browsing Steam a few days ago. I wanted to play an adventure game, and as soon as I logged on I saw a recommendation for Stardrop from a friend who loves space games. So, I went on to YouTube and also Steam and tried to search for reviews, but I found nothing of substance. What I did find was that in Steam you had a few reviews, but they were all generally positive, and that just got me even more intrigued. Basically what I could muster from all the information I found online was that it was a story-driven exploration game, and it had, potentially engaging characters and interesting, non-pretentious dialogues. And that kind of reminded me of Firewatch. I was wondering, is this another indie game that was relegated to the dark corner of Steam? And you know what happened, right? The next day I woke up and I decided to purchase it. So I got it for around $18 with a 25% discount. Now, Stardrop was developed mostly by one guy, and this guy, I'm not gonna say his name because I'm gonna butcher it. He had the help of a small team with a few actors and some artists, a composer and 3 playtesters, and basically it is categorized as a single-player, first-person, narrative-driven sci-fi adventure and exploration game. Damn it, that's a long freaking sentence to describe this game. So let's get to the story. Basically, you play as Erin alongside her partner John, and basically you guys perform salvage and rescue operations on spaceships. The main plot starts when you discover an unidentified spaceship and then you set out to recover it. But the thing is, the more you explore the vessel, the more questions come up regarding its fate. And because most of the game, or the gist of it, is the story, not so much the gameplay, but the story, and I'll get to it later. I'm not going to spoil any part of the story, but I can tell you that it just gets more interesting as the plot thickens from chapter to chapter. And it keeps you intrigued and it keeps you wanting more. And contrary to most games of this nature, the story ends on a positive note. But anyway, once you complete the main story, you can always revisit the game and you can select any given chapter. And you also unlock the Sro Missions, which basically they have 2 options. One allows you to go back to your apartment where you can revisit items that you've collected. The second option is a mission to recover yet another lost spaceship, and sadly this mission is very short. It is about 15 minutes long. Just a second guys, I gotta take a sip. However, it did introduce a new life form, and this 15-minute long mission opened up a lot of possibilities for new narratives, and I wish the developer had expanded upon with DLC content, which I would gladly pay for. Overall, the game left me wanting more, and I think it has untapped potential. And let's get to the gameplay and level design. So basically you will explore your surroundings, obviously by using your legs. Now, bad jokes aside, you will make use of a scan tool, alright? And that scan tool will highlight objects around you. And those objects you can interact with. There's many kinds of objects, but basically these allow you to learn more about the story and to find clues and interact with your environment so that you can progress to the next area. The game follows a somewhat linear design, so you will be going back and forth between areas as you find ways to unlock them. Also, unlike sandboxes, mission objectives only have one way to approach them, so in this sense the game does not offer much replayability. Now, one thing that kept me interested in the gameplay was that the interaction with the surroundings evolved over time. So every chapter introduced some new mechanic, and I think this was what kept me going, because to be honest, the game, in the beginning it felt a little bit boring. I do have complaints, alright? So in terms of gameplay, mostly because the security systems in the game, they are all non-lethal. So the stealth moments are just too damn easy. And if you're spotted and an alarm is triggered, you won't be able to progress further until you turn off the alarm in the nearest security station. So that is the only consequence by not playing stealth properly. You won't die, they won't kill you, it kind of pisses me off, okay? Even though this is designed to be a story-driven game and it's not supposed to be a challenge but rather a journey, nevertheless it's ludicrous that bots do not detect me as long as I move slowly or I just stay put. I mean, look at this image I'm showing you. I'm just standing it next to the bot and he's not even detecting me. What's the point? I think this mechanic, needs to be improved, and it would make the whole experience just more rewarding and sensical. And yeah, that's my major complaint with the game, because the rest is pretty good. I mean, if you look at the graphics, for the most part, they are really good. And I did have issues with lighting and aliasing, and performance-wise in the initial chapters. I also occasionally experienced stuttering with sudden frame rate drops and other visual issues, but thankfully these were sparse enough not to ruin my experience. And on the other hand, the artwork is very captivating, and the environments make you feel like you are truly exploring a spaceship. Anyway, in terms of sounds, I also had some occasional issues where I couldn't hear dialogues well because they were being overpowered by other sounds. I also had a few times where my speakers had distorted output, and also when I used my headphones, there were also a couple of times where I could hear white noise. But again, these issues also, just like the graphics, they only happened a few times throughout the game, and it didn't hinder the overall experience. The voice acting was pretty good. It's nothing spectacular, okay? This is not a Hollywood AAA experience, but it was believable and it was well executed. And the music and sound effects were, in my opinion, they were appropriate for the setting. Speaking of game settings, let's get to that. Overall, no complaints, but please do include a reset to default button in your next development, Mr. Developer, because it does help. And in terms of bugs, I had quite a few. So when I was interacting with my screen capture software and then I was getting back into the game, suddenly my mouse, everything got inverted, just went crazy. And basically all the movements, they became opposite of what I was, stroking on my keyboard or in my mouse. Everything was just going crazy. Okay, so verdict, right? So you don't know me, I don't know you. That's not the point here, but I don't care about money, okay? Money has no real value. It's just a construct of humankind. So for me, what really matters is whether this game was worth my time, because time is the most important commodity to me, and that's how I judge games. I judge them by the measure of time. Was it worth my time? So in the first hour of gameplay, it was dull and boring, and I felt like giving up. But as I progressed through, it kept surprising me with new gimmicks and the mechanics, and also the intriguing story, and basically took me around 9 hours to complete the game. So I enjoyed most of the game, and it kept me engaged. So I guess in this sense it was worth my time, but if you ask me, are there better story-driven sci-fi adventures out there? Yes, I believe so. I haven't played them, but I'm pretty sure there are. This is an indie game, okay guys? Don't expect AAA stuff. If you are wondering if this game is worth your time, then let me tell you, this game is very casual, okay? It is not for those who want a challenge. Level progression is fairly easy, and the stealth mechanic is child's play. So this game is all about the narrative and the adventure. If you want to sit back, play a casual game that you can relax while you enjoy an intriguing story, then give it a try. Also, I have some last words to the developer. Please do some DLCs for the Sro Missions. I would pay for it, and I would gladly make use of my precious time to play them. So thank you everyone, thanks for watching, see you guys next time.